Imagine waking up in a world where nobody has ever spoken a word. Not just a world without English, a world without any spoken language at all. No word for fire, no word for mother, no word for lion. No way to say, do not go near the river tomorrow. You can see danger. You can feel fear. You may even know exactly what you want another person to understand. But there is no sentence waiting inside your mouth. So what would life actually be like? Would ancient humans simply point, gesture, and make random noises? And how did those signals become language? The first thing to understand is that a world before language would not have been silent. Ancient human ancestors would still have cried, laughed, screamed, and made sounds when they were frightened, excited, angry, or in pain. They would have used their faces, their eyes, their hands, their posture, and the direction of their gaze. A person suddenly freezing and staring into the grass could warn everyone that something was wrong. A hand held out could mean, stop. A finger pointed toward a tree could direct attention. Someone could imitate an animal or pretend to throw a spear. Touch could comfort a frightened child, while a sharp cry could alert the group. So before full language, communication probably already existed in many forms. The difficult part is that scientists cannot show us the first conversation. Words do not fossilize. Stone tools can survive for millions of years, but gestures and sounds disappear almost immediately. There is no ancient recording of the first word. There may never have been one clear moment when communication suddenly became language. It was probably a long, gradual process. And it may not have begun with speech alone. Some researchers think gestures were especially important because hands can create pictures in the air. Even without a shared word, you can point to water. You can pretend to eat. You can spread your arms to show that an animal was large. Modern experiments show that people can create simple communication systems from gestures surprisingly quickly. Other experiments show that humans can also invent meaningful non-word sounds that strangers understand better than chants. A small, high sound may suggest something tiny, while a deep sound may suggest something large. So the earliest path toward language may have used the whole body: hands, face, voice, rhythm, and movement. Imagine a small group searching for food. One person discovers fruit beyond a rocky hill. He returns, points behind him, pretends to pick something, and then pretends to eat. The group may understand enough to follow, but what exactly does the gesture mean? Does it mean there is food behind the hill, or a dangerous animal is eating there? Without shared symbols, meaning depends heavily on what everyone can see and guess. Communication works best in the present moment, here, now. That tree, this animal, come closer, run away. But the farther a message moves from the present, the harder it becomes. How do you explain that a predator was near the river yesterday? Or that one mushroom is safe only after it has been cooked? Gesture and demonstration could communicate a great deal, but precise information about yesterday, tomorrow, somewhere else, or someone absent would be much more difficult to share. Teaching would also be slower. Imagine trying to show someone how to make a stone cutting tool. You can demonstrate where to strike. You can move their hands. You can point when they make a mistake. But explaining exactly why the stone must be struck at a particular angle is much harder without shared words. Experiments with people learning to make simple stone tools found that teaching improved the transfer of the skill, and language improved it even further. That does not prove ancient toolmakers had language, but it shows why clearer communication could have become so valuable. Clearer instructions could help a group preserve skills, prepare food safely, and survive. Slowly, certain gestures and sounds may have become familiar. Perhaps a particular call was repeatedly used when a snake appeared. At first, the sound might simply express fear, but after hearing it beside snakes again and again, the group could begin to treat it as a signal for snake. Now, the sound would not need to resemble the animal. It would only need to be remembered. A signal becomes a shared symbol. Then symbols can begin to combine. A sound for snake. A gesture for river. Put them together, and the message may become snake near the river. Several signals could form an even more detailed message. We do not know whether early communication developed in exactly this way. But language probably did not arrive as a complete package containing perfect words and grammar. There may have been long periods of something more limited, a kind of proto-language with useful calls, gestures, names, and simple combinations. Each generation could learn the system, change it, and add to it. A dramatic pantomime might become a shorthand movement. An animal imitation might become a simpler sound. A string of signals might develop a predictable order. And once order matters, changing the order can change the meaning. Man chase animal is not the same as animal chase man. Voice also had practical advantages. Gestures require visibility. They are difficult to see at night. They disappear behind trees. And they are less useful when both hands are carrying food, holding a child, or shaping a tool. Sound can travel through darkness. It can reach someone facing the other direction. It can warn several people at once. And it can be used while the hands are busy. Over time, changes in the brain, breathing, voice, mouth, and control of sound may have made spoken communication increasingly flexible. But gesture did not disappear. Even today, people point, wave, nod, shrug, and move their hands while speaking. Our bodies are still part of language. So what was life like before language existed? It was probably more social than we imagine. Ancient ancestors could form bonds through touch, shared work, play, laughter, and care. They could cooperate, learn by watching, and understand emotions without words. But their shared world may have been smaller. A person could show what was happening. Language made it easier to share what was not happening in front of them. A memory, a possibility, a plan, a rule, a story. A danger hidden beyond the hill. Once humans could place events into words, knowledge no longer had to remain trapped inside one person's experience. Someone could warn others about an unseen poisonous plant. A toolmaker could explain a technique. An elder could describe a distant water source, and a group could plan for a future that did not yet exist. Language did not simply help humans speak. It allowed many minds to build the same invisible picture. And that may be the greatest difference between the world before language and the world after it. Before language, humans communicated mainly through what others could see, hear, and infer. After language, they could communicate what existed only inside the mind. There was probably no morning when one ancient human woke up, said the first word, and surprised everyone around the fire. The change was slower than that. A gesture became familiar. A sound gained meaning. Two signals were joined. A child learned them. Another generation changed them. Over thousands of generations, simple signals became systems, able to describe the past, imagine the future, teach the living, and remember the dead. So the first language may not have begun with a perfect sentence. It may have begun with something much smaller. A point, a warning cry, an imitation, a sound repeated until everyone understood. And from those tiny shared signals came one of the most powerful tools humans would ever create. Not a spear, not fire, not the wheel, but the ability to place an idea inside another person's mind.